I'll call the meeting to order and welcome you all here this evening. Does anyone have anything they want to add to the agenda? If not, I'd entertain it.
I think we need to amend it for that propane contract, I think.
Okay.
Or we can put that under.
We'll just consider that
Yep.
new business. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
First and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. The minutes are in front of you.
I move we approve.
Is there a second? Yep. Go ahead, second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The minutes are approved. You had some bills in your pack that was mailed out, and Renee circulated the additional bills from Reese Brothers to Post Office, Stantial Pest Technology, and Healy Excavating.
There is one other one up at the top, the fourth one down there. There's a charge for $312.16 to Sage Peachtree. That's for an update for our new software. Our auditors say that we'll need to update that by the first of the year so that we can update our tax tables. Basically, if we do it before September 1st, we get a $100 discount on it, so that's why I put it in August bills. It's the $299 plus their tax on it. That's how that put.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Just a note, we've got, under the financial end of it, we've got $261,155.69 in our checking account at Iowa State Bank. And with deposits, subtract August deposits of $16,551. And our August bills, as presented tonight, total $105,788.88, leaving us a balance of $171,917.81. There's motion's been made and seconded to approve the bills. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The bills stand approved. Ivan?
Okay, why don't we jump in on the change order that was in your packet. This is for the landfill contract on cell 7C. Basically running down through the items. In item number 4, excavation class 10, we discussed this at the last meeting that they're on the slope, basically the slope between cell 7B and 7C. We had an interface there that had to be excavated back when we started developing the cell. That we were expecting 2 feet of intermediate cover. When we uncovered in there, basically it was mostly solid waste mixed in there. So that material had to be hauled around and put on the working face. The contractor, would have been expecting to use a good portion of the soil off of there just for being able to bulldoze it off and reutilize it, and would not have to top loaded it. So what we had discussed the last time was basically offering an extra $1 per cubic yard for the additional cost of top loading. We discussed this with the contractor, John Healy, and he was agreeable to that. So what we do is decrease bid item number 4, the original bid item, 1,983 cubic yards at $2.25, and then down below you'll see a new bid item added, item number 5 there, bid item 20, excavation mixed waste, 1,983 cubic yards at $3.25 a cubic yard. So basically an extra $1,983 was added to the contract for that top loading activity. Then the bid item number 5, over excavation on suitable material. When we cut the cell to subgrade, we are looking for soft, spongy materials or real gravelly materials that would be at the subbase under the 2-foot compacted clay. We don't want that material there, and would undercut it and put cohesive soils back in, clay soils back in. Basically, we had estimated going into the contract potentially 500 cubic yards of that type of excavation. However, we only utilized, we didn't utilize any over excavation at all, and so therefore we are deleting bid item number 5, over excavation, in its entirety. Next bid item number 14, geosynthetic clay liner. What this was at the interface, again, tapping into the old cell. When we put the subgrade in there, then we're going to, the membrane liner was going to be anchored in a trench, a 1.5 deep trench. So when we basically go to the subgrade, we put a geosynthetic, basically it's a bentonite clay in a geotextile fabric on both sides that is laid in there. We, in the original design, had accounted for that across the bottom of the cell, but did not account for it up the side slope of the abutment cell. So there was an additional 120 feet to account for going up the side slope that had to be added into the contract. And that is added, just the quantity is added at his bid price of $21.20 per linear foot.
Did you not know that that was going to be required?
We just it was an oversight. We had it included across the bottom cell, but did not account for it going up the side slope. Okay, bid item number 18, drainage layer material. This is the sand material that's placed on the cell. Basically, in doing such, we make an estimate, guessing at what the dry unit weight of the sand will be coming in, or I shouldn't say the wet unit weight of the sand coming in, and we estimate how many tons of sand. We first computed out in cubic yards and then basically converted to tons based on an estimated unit weight. In doing his construction, one of the things, his specification is he has to have a minimum of 12 inches of sand over the liner and the maximum 14. So he's shooting to put the sand in that range. We then do a final check by survey over top of the sand to account for how much thickness he has out there. Across the bottom, basically he was averaging right between 13 inches of sand. So he was hitting right in the middle and looked really good. Up the side slope, we could not work the sand across the slope. Everything had to be worked up and down. In doing such, we had some areas where our sand was thicker, up to 14 inches, but in general we were able to maintain that he was staying in the 14 and under range. The end result is basically we had just computed the quantity at a dry unit weight at 12 inches. Basically we're averaging more like 13 inches across the whole thing. So the total extra tons of sand was 641.99 tons. He basically turns in his weight tickets. Some of the last sand that we received was fairly wet. So basically less volume actually added to more tons. But in general, he was completely within his specification. We were estimating just at the bare minimum, basically, of sand, and he was averaging more in the middle. So that is to modify the contract to bring it up to actual quantities basically placed, and that's how the 641, and that's at his bid price of $12.75. And then the last one we talked about being with number 7, or the first bid item there. So the total change in the contract is for $10,212.37 increase. Realizing that basically the contractor's original bid was well under the next low bid by about $20-some thousand.
Like 98,000 was there,
Yes, that would, the original bid are $198,536. I forgot to look up what our original engineer's estimate on it was, but I believe we were in the 240 range. So the end contract is at 208,748. So you're still looking at $30,000 under what we were estimating the contract to be. What we would need tonight is first a motion to approve the change order for the changes that we had just discussed.
Is he doing a good job, Ivan?
Yeah, John's done a real good job.
Do you get recommendations from this county to pursue farther if you wanted to do somebody else's?
Landfill wise?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I so move that we accept the changes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the change order of $10,212.37. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Change order is approved.
Okay, the other item was the pay estimate, I believe. So this pay estimate was included in your bills there, Renee. Okay, we'll just basically touching on the pay estimate. The work is complete out there, so everything is done. So this pay estimate has the change order items included. It brings the contract up to basically 100% payment less the 5% retainage. So the amount of this application is for $76,126.70. Even though it was in your bills, I think you probably should have for the record a separate motion to basically approve the pay estimate on the contract for the amount of the $76,126.70.
And that's with this change order already.
That's what the change order items included in.
We just voted on.
That's correct.
Yeah, if you look on the front page, that net change by change orders, it's number 2 there. It increases.
On first page.
Ben made a motion to approve. Gene, you seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. The pay estimate of $76,126.70 is approved. Ivan?
Okay, the other item, the contract again, he has completed his work out there effective on August 19th, which actually was the contract completion date. So he is, met his contract requirements of completion by the 19th. We also, tonight we also have basically the certification of Stantial completion, which basically we file that the contractor will be asked to sign off on 3 copies of this, and the board here has to also approve the Stantial completion. And myself, as the engineer, I have already basically signed the certificate of Stantial completion. Basically, it says that all work under the contract documents were completed to Stantial completion on August 19, 2011. The work to which the certificate applies has been inspected by the authorized representatives of the owner, contractor, and engineer. From the owner side of it, JB was asked to go with Tom Graff and do a walkover on Thursday of last week to verify if everything basically look to meet their requirements out there. The contractor, John Healy, and crew was on site, and then Tom Graff was basically the representative from Kiln Pyre. Basically, that was the project representative on the job for the inspection work. Basically, we have found the work to be substantially complete. We use the term substantial because in case there would be some minor item or whatever that showed up, that basically the cell is complete to the point that it could be utilized. If there would be some minor items that would show up and stuff that had to be addressed before the final acceptance by the board, that could still be requested. The certification basically just gives the contractor notification that under his contract he has met his contract requirements by this given date, and so that he knows that he would not be held accountable for overrun on the contract. So what I would ask for tonight would be basically the board another motion to accept or approve the certificate of substantial completion and authorize the chairman to sign off on this certificate of substantial completion.
Before I not.
Isn't he a month ahead of that? September 19th completion work?
Oh, you are correct. Let me double check that.
This says 9/19.
Yeah, I want to verify that in the notice. That is incorrectly shown on the on that change order. That should be 8/19, not 9/19.
So he did hit it right on the head.
I will physically just change this, and that was carried down all the way through the change order. I'm going to initial, since the contract is the controlling factor. It really becomes of no significance in the fact that he has met his
Does the
contract.
DNR have to come out and approve it, or they just go by the paperwork that you're submitting?
No, we've already sent in a request to DNR to have the field office from Spencer is supposed to do an on-site inspection. We have requested that as of last Friday. The Des Moines office is basically the one that orders the inspection, and we are in discussions with Amy Davison down there on that issue. She says, well, typically we don't order that until you submit your actual certification packet. We said, we have asked them to proceed and do the on-site inspection, so when the certification packet is submitted, basically they can basically approve it and move forward. We have the same issue going on over at Cherokee. Basically, we had requested the inspection over there 2 weeks ago, and then she notifies us that, well, typically we wouldn't basically order that until you've submitted. And it takes about 2 weeks for us to get all the materials from the lining outfit and everything back. We have to have the destructive test and everything to put together this formal certification report to DNR.
So they actually don't come out and look until after we've got all the paperwork submitted.
That's what she's saying, but there is...
What happens if we have to have extra work done, or we don't pass their qualifications, and we have to have more work done, so then we have to resubmit, and then we have to redo all our motions and stuff?
It's
That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
basically a formality of them coming out and taking a look.
Business is normal at DNR, that's.
It's because they can't see the membrane liner. The sand is there. Everything's covered up. So it's just a formality of
That's what I'm
them.
getting at though, but if they find something, they find a loophole that they don't like, then we've got to go back and redo everything.
Yeah.
Call Healy back up, tell him we want a hole.
Unless there would be test results or whatever stuff that failed, that basically that we proceeded with a failed test. As long as we have testing that shows that we met the requirements of the department, it's one of those formalities they go through, and so that they have
I
some.
don't understand why they're behind.
Pay for it, yeah.
It's screwy.
Exactly, and that's what we're laying out to them by email is, you guys basically just do a visual inspection. We then submit, and you guys look over the test results. The people that are on the site do not look over the test results. All they do is walk out there, see to it that the cell is basically in the place that we said it was going to be.
Just like we did last meeting.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they do.
I so move.
Okay, a motion's been made to approve the certification of completion. Is there a second to that?
Substantial completion.
Substantial. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried.
Okay, the worst case scenario is we will be done with putting our packet together. We are rushing the certification for this one in case they refuse to do the on-site inspection. We just got the materials from the lining outfit today at the end of the day, but we should be able to submit on Friday to DNR. So,
Do they have any friends?
I don't know.
Okay, Ivan, anything else?
That is all on the contract. Moving on, a couple other items. Stefan Engineering has been basically contacted going on 4 weeks ago about getting their on schedule to come out and do the drills along well number 15 to verify where the waste face is, and based upon the distance that the waste is from well number 15, well number 15 is the one that we're getting landfill gas coming into the well, and if that is less than basically in the neighborhood of less than 40 feet, we are looking to move that well and drill the new well. The board has already given that authorization. We've been busy with the waste cell, having been pushing real hard on Stefan Engineering. They have not responded to our request of getting it scheduled. We are making contact this week, pushing them now, let's get this thing scheduled and get it done. So we are hoping to get that accomplished in the next 2 weeks. Also leading into the fact that we have one round of testing yet to do on the 3 new wells, which was well 13, 14, 15. Well 15 we don't want to do an additional test on because we know that we're looking to move the well. So this round of testing would be done as part of the semi-annual sampling, which would typically take place in late September. And we want to have the new well, basically we're assuming we're going to have a new well, the new well in place so that we can get the first round of testing on that well. So, that is coming up in September. And hopefully by the next meeting I'll be able to report to you in regard to the relocation of well 15. The other item I had, I guess I'll defer to you, Dean, if you want to talk about that ammonia tonnages.
You can weigh in on that. On when Larry gives his report.
Okay,
Thanks, Ivan.
and let's see, and that is all I have.
How about the bales, the stocks, Ivan, how are they coming?
I will defer that to Larry also.
Oh, okay.
We've got, I guess Renee's husband's bringing them in Thursday,
That was what I was told.
so we'll have to get about, what did you say, about 35 more made up this fall. And if anybody knows, if anybody's got a machine that grinds and blows that stuff, they're around, but I don't know who's got them.
Grinds and blows them, Larry.
Do you know, Ivan?
We put it,
I can,
people that do that work on new right-of-way, on highway right-of-ways, they've got those machines.
yeah, I was going to say the seating contractor out of Cherokee,
Who's that?
the seating contractor out of Cherokee, I can't think of the name, it's something in Sons. I can get you that contact. I believe they have a round valve grinder blower unit. They do a lot of work along DOT right-of-ways and everything too.
I guess following the order of the agenda, Jim Shelley isn't here. Just a note, and we might want to talk about, put it on the agenda for discussion in October, but after the end of the year, when all the recycling bills had totaled up, it was between the, our investment, the $13,000 that we're billed every month, 12. But the total was $95,858 for the year that ended June 30th, 2011. That's down, if I've got it figured right, it's down from $134,376 in June of 2010. So, we made some improvement there. It's still, the 95,000 is still a substantial amount for 850 tons of recycling. But I don't want to get into it tonight. You can be thinking about that. And
How many tons did you say, Dean?
well, I think they approximately handled about 850 tons.
So that was down this year as well?
Well, that's about, it fluctuates between 900 and 800. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. Next on the agenda, Larry, you want to fill us in on what's going on?
Okay. Like Ivan said about that dirt from Anya, he come and see me again last week, and I told him what we decided before. And then Thursday, Tom Graff and I went over and looked at it. It's mostly dirt and glass and rocks. And Tom says that would be to our benefit to take it. And then we could sort the rock out. He'd pay us to take the rock and everything. We'd sort the rock out as he brought it in. We could use it for like daily cover, and we wouldn't have to haul as much dirt. We could stop, if we could get the, Tom was saying yesterday, if we could get the DNR to approve us stockpiling that, then use it as we needed it.
We can't have, we could, how many tons?
He was talking 400 ton, 4,000 ton, and he estimated the pile, and it was just a little less than that. But you figure that's $152,000.
At 38.50 a charge.
Yeah. He was wanting less, lower rate, but I said, you guys decided not to do that.
Well, we gotta, I just throw it out, we can't charge a lot more, less than $38 a ton, because by the time you figure our development cost, we just spent 210, figure 50, 60,000 in testing and engineering. We spent, between 250 and 300,000 on a 4-year deal, so I don't think we should lower it.
No, I agree.
Well, the one thing would be is there's a portion of this waste pile that you do not have to end up putting in the landfill. The rock and those type of things, if you do some sorting on it and stuff.
There's some pretty good sized rocks in there. We can
You know,
sort them
it's-
out as they come in. They'll be paying us for that.
That's going to be material. You will scale the material coming in, bill them accordingly with the material you receive. If you do sort yourself, the material that you're going to actually bury, you should reweigh, and you would pay your DNR fees on what you actually landfill. You do not have to pay the fees on the rock and soil or whatever that you take out of that pile.
Can we just weigh what we take off the pile? We don't have to all pick everything up.
Scale the rock would be.
And that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Whichever way you want to, basically.
It'd be pretty tough we ain't got nothing to haul it up there to weigh it, except for an end loader bucket.
Well, then if you're in mud and snow,
Yeah.
we don't want to be.
I'd just sooner weigh the rock back out after when we get done with the pile, just take that, and then loader bucket wouldn't take long, you know. And there's some metals in there we could probably keep out too, so.
And in regard to having to have permission from DNR to stockpile, as long as you stockpile this on the landfill area. If you put it at the top of cell 7 or B, and then after you had your rocks sorted, you are storing it, it's C&D type waste. And you're storing it on the working or the landfill area, the lined area. So you don't have to have permission to temporary stockpile it any place.
So you're saying we don't even contact them?
That's correct. You're accepting a waste there, as long as you had no free liquids and those type of things in this waste, which you don't. Basically, you don't have to have permission, and you don't have to verify hazardous waste or anything. You receive it, put it on the landfill area, do your sort, and then the material, if it still has quite a bit of soil on it, you can just use it down that face between cell 7B and 7C.
Side slope instead of corn stalks.
Yeah.
It's not going to be different than garbage. Garbage has glass in it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we're going to sort the iron, the metals, the tin cans and all that, sort all that out.
The only thing would be is,
We're going to
I mean, that would be a possibility. DNR, basically, you're not supposed to put a C&D type waste on over top of the sand until basically.
But it's still not really C&D. It's dirt and glass and tin cans.
Yeah.
So how's it any different than garbage? It has tin cans and glass in it with dirt on top of that.
Where it came from was the burial of old building site. So, my personal opinion, if it ended up there, I'm not going to say a whole lot about it.
Well, but we can still make an attempt to put some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a picture, document.
Because there ain't going to be enough to cover that whole slope anyhow.
No.
Well, 4,000 tons is basically almost, 3/4 of a year of solid waste that you receive. But
there's years we barely.
This is very heavy material. It's not going to spread out to a large volume over.
It'll save the amount of clay. The clay that you think about that. I don't see how we can lose instead of pulling all that clay and filling up our cell daily. I think that's a win-win.
I think, I don't see why we would be, especially if we don't have to get the.
We got to think about this sooner or later. We're taking in, say, 4,000 ton. It's going to, the workload of our two operators is, how's that going to, are we going to?
Well, he said he could haul it to us in a day's time, so I don't know what his day is.
Well, are we going to have to hire extra dozer? Or,
probably not.
Well,
maybe another person on the scale
to
run the scale for us.
I guess, one thing the board I thought about after talking about it is this is going to increase our workload a little bit. But I think the board should give them the discretion. If they need to hire some part-time help, or they call me and say we need another cat in or something. What would the board feel about that?
I have no problem with it. Scale operator at all.
Yeah, that way we can be down there at the site taking care of it as it comes in.
You need a motion then, just kind of like put you in charge?
Well, I don't know.
They must have some discretion available to them already. with all
Larry,
the
will you need a
separate-
director or somebody saying, okay, go down this way with this stuff here?
Oh, maybe we
Because
could
if you and
watch.
JB are down there
Yeah,
and your scale person's not gonna know where they're
Yeah.
supposed to go.
that's true.
Maybe you could hire,
Once they come in, well, that's the first load, they'll know where to go with it, hopefully.
Unless you change it.
Yeah.
Cut and iron. Halton.
we couldn't tear them away from that.
Oh, I don't think so. That's beer money.
Well, this would be beer money too.
Well, okay, so, backing up, Ivan, do you think we need a motion to
The board should have a motion to accept the material.
the material?
The material, but I don't think you need any director help, do you?
No, we're just.
I make a motion to accept the extra material from Highway 20 contractor Monia,
Monia.
At $38 a ton.
$38 a ton.
38.
And,
I'd rather guess they already have the authority to reject or accept things. I don't see that we need it.
Because he's moved it once already, so it can't have a lot of contaminants in it. From the original site, he's moved it over just north of Vernon, Kowalki's there on the road right away, is where he's piled it now.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to,
I don't want to rule every load of stuff that comes
No.
into the landfill with that.
Well, Nick made the motion, I'll second it.
motion's been made and seconded to receive the material that's been piled up in the right-of-way, the future Highway 20, and to be hauled to landfill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Is everybody clear on this?
Yep.
And we've given Larry and JB the authority to do what they need to deal with it. Okay. What else is going on?
One other thing, our iron trailer out there situation. For the last 20 years or so, Don Bartles has been getting the metal for nothing. And when it was down real low, he had to pay him for it. I've done some checking with another outfit. They'll set us a roll-off box there. When it's full, they'll come and get it and replace it with an empty one and pay us for the product that's in it, no charge for the roll-off.
We'll get a percentage.
Yeah, we'll get a percentage of it. That's,
It can be 2%, that's more than we're getting now.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
and we don't have to have a separate pile for the wire, don't have to have a separate pile for the tin or the cut iron.
Just put it all in
It
one.
all goes in one container and they pick it up and haul it off. And the old trailer out there, they said they'd take that too. I'm just, there's people that bring in stuff that's so heavy that we gotta use the end loader to put it in the trailer, but then we gotta go out there and help unload it out of that trailer into his trailer. This is saving everybody, it's a lot of work. It's totally up to you guys.
Yeah. Can't give this stuff away.
Because when it was really low, he was charging us a penny a
Just so
pound
it's
for it.
recorded, when we make a motion, that we're going to change our,
Scrap metal.
Scrap iron, scrap iron.
So moved to
Sort of
change our
like
step.
those rocks, it's weighed in, but we don't have to bury it. A lot of
oh,
bucks.
yeah, we want to recycle. Nick made a motion,
To change our steel recycling procedure out there to go with that drop-off box.
Who is the contractor?
Shaw out of Ida Grove, because he was up there with some stuff, and I asked the driver, and he didn't know, so he called the office, and that's where I got the particulars of it, so.
is there a second to that motion?
Oh,
Yeah, second.
Before
Motion's
you
been-
vote on it, Sac County has a fella, a contractor that does that sort of thing. If we want to give preference to someone like Murphy at trailer or not.
He's so busy, I don't know if we can get a trailer box to sit there.
Oh, yeah. He's got that big room.
I've done,
Yeah, but,
I've asked him twice.
We asked
Never
him
did
once to
anything
come
back
over with
so.
some, and he would never bring them over.
That's
so.
fine.
I'm glad you brought that up. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carried.
Just watch him so that he,
See, somebody from the Litton area.
We'll wait right there.
Contact them.
and make sure you get.
Is there anybody here?
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Thank you.
He don't bother me none.
Okay, is there anything else? We got a propane contract that, from Star Energy for estimating 1,500 gallon. Then their contract price is $1.90. That's higher than last year, but I bet a lot of you around the table have signed contracts close to $1.90. If it's substantially lower, let me know.
85
About a month ago.
Yeah, okay. Well, they've been our supplier, and they do a good job, so
You want a motion to approve that?
please.
So move to approve the Star Energy LP contract
second that.
for $1.90.
Yeah.
You can't
$1,500.
negotiate down, you guys said $1.85, you can't negotiate that down a little bit? I mean,
They're a good supplier, and
all right, that's fine, I have no problem with it.
That was some volume.
The tank
more
runs
than
empty, and we
1,500
call him,
gallons.
and it's his fault because the computer didn't tell him he was ready.
That's fine.
okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed to the motion say nay. Motion carried. I'll sign the contract. Is there anything else?
We're building the road into that new cell now, and we're gonna be needing some rock and gravel to put on that. I contacted Mike, but he hasn't got any, he said he was gonna try to make it out today, but he hasn't made it. We ain't ready for it yet, so there'll be a substantial, I don't know how much we're gonna need, but
Yeah.
we won't be able to probably dump in the cell until another week and a half anyhow, so
Right,
at least, so
2 weeks, I would say.
2 weeks, yeah. That'll give us time without it raining to get our road done and packed down good.
How's all the equipment there?
Good. I think we had a major oil leak on the end loader, but I got that fixed.
Is it possible, maybe not every meeting, but maybe every other meeting or every 3 months for you to say, okay, we did this to the cap or whatever, and say, yep, we had to do this, we had to fix this. I know it's going to be in the minutes or in the bills somewhere, but, sometimes I look at that, like there's a speeds bill in here and maybe not, speeds. And if you can just tell me what you're fixing.
What we spent on what piece of equipment.
Yeah, that would be nice.
There's no problem.
Because I'd like to see our equipment kept updated. And since we've got this running machine and you guys like it so well that you really love it, maybe in 2 years, we can take a history of that and we can say, guess what, we're going to trade this loader off, we're going to upgrade ourselves.
Because like yesterday, I set the tile for the driveway. We couldn't have done it with our tractor motor. But it's been a good thing.
You told me that you don't see how we lived without it for so many years, and now all of a sudden you got it and you love the machine.
We went the first 10 years without a tractor and loader out there too.
Because I'm sure if the board come to you and said, guess what, we're going to pull your end loader, you'd probably get down on your hands and knees and cry.
Well, I'd retire.
Well, thanks for all of you coming tonight. Really appreciate the turnout. And please.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.